Sworn in as the 15th President of India on the 25th of July 2022. Previously, she was the Governor from 2015 to 2021 of Jharkhand. She has devoted her life to empowering the downtrodden and the marginalized sections and deepening the democratic values. Srimati Murmu was appointed the Governor on 18 May 2015. She was the first woman tribal governor of a tribal majority state, and she received wide appreciation for upholding the values of the Constitution and supporting the rights of the tribal communities. She introduced reforms in examination and recruitment processes of the state universities, and she earned respect from leaders of all political parties for her statesmanship and adherence to democratic ethos. Please welcome the Honourable President Murmu to NZIEC Kitua 2024.
Namaskar, Minister for Environment and Tertiary Education, Ms. Penny Simons, High Commissioner of India to New Zealand, Srimati Neeta Bhushan, esteemed guests, educators and students, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar, kia ora. It is a pleasure to address the International Education Conference in New Zealand. It is indeed significant that India is the country of honor for this year's conference. Education has always been close to my heart. I have seen and experienced firsthand the transformative power of education. I grew up in a remote village in India where access to quality education was limited. My parents, despite their humble means, understood the value of education and ensured that I attended school. I was the first woman from my village to receive a college education. It was through their unwavering support and the dedication of my teachers that I was able to pursue higher education and eventually serve my country in various capacities. This personal journey has instilled in me a deep belief in the power of education to uplift individuals and communities. Friends, education is not just an individual endeavor, but also a vehicle for social change and nation building. Education should be creative and touch all aspects of people's life, be it economic, intellectual, artistic, economic, social, or spiritual. Education enables society to create leaders, thinkers, guides, protectors, and keepers of the conscience of society. Education is the cornerstone of a nation's progress and advancement. Knowledge has always been the highest purpose of life in India. From our timeless scriptures of life, the Vedas, Upanishads, and the Buddhist Tripitaka, to the rich Sangam literature and the ancient centers of learning like Nalanda and Takshashila, knowledge has been an eternal pursuit in India. In 21st century India, our education system played a significant role and has produced leaders in diverse fields who are contributing not only in India but also around the world. Today, India has made notable progress in the field of education. Our literacy rates have gone up significantly. More and more educational institutions have been set up across the country. and there is wider representation from across various sections of society in the education system. In higher education, India boasts some of the world's premier institutions, such as the Indian Institute of Technology and Indian Institute of Management. These institutions have been instrumental in producing world-class engineering scientists, managers who contribute to the global knowledge economy. I am glad that the consortium of New Zealand universities has established a center at IIT Delhi for academic collaboration. Government of India is bringing reforms to enhance quality and excellence in education. Our National Education Policy 2020 is aimed at transforming Indian education landscape by promoting multidisciplinary learning, critical thinking, and global competitiveness. It also opens our avenues for greater collaboration with foreign educational institutions. New Zealand is renowned for its high-quality education with particular focus on research and innovation, inclusivity, and excellence. Education remains one of the top service exports of New Zealand. In incorporation of Maori culture and language into the curriculum has not only contributed to its preservation, but has also enriched your education environment. Given the priority attached to education by our two countries, it seems natural that we have developed such strong educational ties. India and New Zealand enjoy a warm and friendly relationship anchored by shared values rooted in democracy and rule of law. Our rich cultural exchanges and robust people-to-people ties have played an important role in fostering mutual understanding and goodwill between our nations. Educational exchanges are an important aspect of our bilateral ties. The theme of today's conference, Pathway to the World, is both timely and relevant to our long-standing cooperation in the education sector, where we can collaborate to create a pool of young and productive minds who can contribute in various capacities. Ladies and gentlemen, today, India has a young, aspirational demography geared towards gaining quality education. Indian parents aspire for the best possible education for their children, and it is indeed welcome that many Indian students are gaining access to quality education at various institutions in New Zealand. 8,000 Indian students are pursuing various courses across New Zealand, making it the second largest group of international students here. This number continues to grow. The acceptance of Indian students by New Zealand institutions not only underlines the value that the Indian students place on receiving New Zealand education, but it also demonstrates the value that Indian students are adding to New Zealand in terms of this country's economic growth and multicultural fabric. Both countries, therefore, need to work together to ensure that this success story continues. This would need regular exchanges between the institution, experts, and regulators of both countries. The New Zealand Education Conference offers a great opportunity to continue strengthening the ongoing cooperation in education and also for exploring newer areas of cooperation. With rapid advancement of technologies, our educational institutions may collaborate in digital education and technology integration, such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, vocational and skill-based training, climate and environment studies, cultural exchange programs, research and innovation. I am confident that the discussions and exchanges of this conference will pave the way for even stronger education ties. I will conclude here by conveying my heartfelt gratitude to Education New Zealand and to the Government of New Zealand for honoring India in such a special way. Let us continue to work together to build bridges of knowledge and understanding and for creating world leaders through our educational collaboration. Thank you. Thank you all.
E te prehitani, Srimati Murumu tēnā koe. Thank you for your words. Thank you for being here with us at this conference. And thank you for motivating and inspiring the conference through your words and also through your experience and actions over a number of years. Thank you very much. We now like to welcome Ed Tuari, the Pouwhakahaere Matua Māori, General Manager Māori of Education New Zealand, mana pou ki te ao, to present this very special gift of thanks to you and to President Murumu. Ed, tēnā koe.
Whakairiri, tēnei tā, ngā oho, tēnei tā, ngā pui ake, tēnei tā, ngā patupau na mue. Ko rangi nui he tūi honei ko papatu anu ku e takoto ake nei. Nā reira whakakiki, kuatau, hara mai te toki haumi e hui e, tai ki e.
Ed, thank you. Thank you again, President Murumu. Delegates, President Murumu and her delegation will now depart for the rest of her program here in Aotearoa. We will pause proceedings just for a moment for this to occur, but can you all please join me again in thanking President Murumu and her delegation once again. Please be upstanding as we say farewell to President Murumu.